Welcome back to the Crypto World channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now the DXY is breaking out to the upside, which is a massive bearish signal for Bitcoin. But in the short term, Bitcoin has just confirmed this oversold signal, which I'll talk about in just a moment, while more liquidity is building just underneath the current Bitcoin price, while Ethereum and Solana are still repeating history here in the short term. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the 4-day Bitcoin chart, and right now the super trend indicator is still in the red, so getting straight into the 2-day Bitcoin chart, and of course we're still seeing that major rejection from this significant line of resistance, which was sitting closer towards around 67,000 give or take. And so despite what happens in the short term, at least as of right now, we're still currently within a longer term bearish trend, as we've been in basically over the last half a year or so. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, what we have just seen over the last one day and over the last couple of days is a breakout in the DXY above these previous highs right here, effectively forming and confirming a double bottom pattern, or a W pattern in the DXY, which is a bullish signal for the DXY, which is a bearish signal for Bitcoin, because usually, not always, but usually the DXY and the price of Bitcoin have a negative correlation. Basically, they usually move in opposite directions. And now, obviously, as with any indicator, this is not a 100% perfect indicator all the time. For example, there's some times where they might move in the same direction, but most of the time, they're usually moving in the opposite direction, and we've already seen that over the last half a week or so. As we've now seen a spike in the DXY, of course we have seen a dump in the price of Bitcoin. And so now that we're seeing a further bullish reversal signal in the DXY, once again, this is just yet another bearish signal for the price of Bitcoin. So just keep that in mind. The shorter term trend at the moment for Bitcoin is looking bearish, while the DXY is bullish. But as the price of Bitcoin is within a short-term bearish trend, obviously the price does not often move in a straight line. And so as of right now, and over the last 1 to 2 days, we have found a lot of support so far in this exact area of support, which I've been talking about, in between around 60.2k to 61.2k. So basically around 60 to 61,000 acting as major support, at least for now. And so, like I said, the trend in the short term is clearly bearish right now. We're looking bearish when it comes to the trend and momentum, but during the bearish trend, we can see the occasional sideways consolidation or slight bounce along the way down, just like how during a short-term bullish trend, we can see the occasional rejection from resistance along the way up. And so that is the situation right now. We are running into support, but still within more of a bearish trend and momentum at the moment. And if we actually confirm a break below around $60,000 with a daily candle close below 60k, in that case, the next short-term level of support is sitting closer towards around 59,500. And below that, we should have some more support at around 58,000. And below that, we have a significant area of support in between around 56 to 57,000. And as for resistance, in case we see any sort of bounce here in the short term, we should expect some resistance at around 61.9k and 63,000. And above those levels, we do have more resistance closer towards 64,500. And above that, once again, we have significant resistance in between 67 to 68,000, which is very close to where we rejected from at the local high. And if we're zooming further into the short term, looking at the 6-hour Bitcoin chart, we can see that just over the last day, give or take, we've now confirmed this oversold signal here in the 6-hour Bitcoin RSI, basically telling us that we're reaching a downside limit. We're running out of room to the downside just in the imminent short term. This will not last forever, but potentially over the next 1 to 2 days, we might see a bit of a break from all of the bearish price action here, now that we're running into this major support and we have this oversold signal here in the short term. Because this is effectively the opposite of an overbought signal, where the price is running out of room to the upside, and we're due to see a bit of a reset in the RSI by seeing either a slight pullback or a sideways consolidation before potentially the continuation of the bullish trend later on. And so once again, this is the exact opposite to that. So essentially, we're within more of a short-term bearish trend, but just for the next 1 or 2 days, potentially, we might see a bit of a break. So a sideways consolidation, or maybe a slight bounce during this bearish trend. But it's important to understand that this oversold signal, just like an overbought signal, is not necessarily a trend reversal signal. It's just telling us that we're meant to see a bit of a break in the short term from the current trend to reset the RSI back up towards more neutral levels. And if you want to actually trade these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I take just about all of my trades over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link below this video to make your Bybit account and deposit on that account, then you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video to make your Bybit account. And also, if you click that link, it'll take you to this page right here, which is my official crypto world team in the World Series of Trading, which is basically the biggest trading competition there is, and it's happening right now over on Bybit. And so far, there's a decent amount of people currently joining our crypto world team. And basically, the more people that join our team, the better our chances are at placing well in the competition. And this year, there's a total prize pool of 10 million USDT. So potentially winning a share in this $10 million prize pool, we could actually do that if we get some more people joining our team and if we trade well in this competition. But even if you're not the best trader out there, you can still join our Crypto World team and basically just enter the competition. And by doing that and making a few trades in the trading competition, you basically enter into a lucky draw to potentially win a Rolex watch or even a luxury yacht. That is right. Bybit is currently giving away a luxury yacht in this competition, but that's only if you actually enter the competition. And once again, if you're joining the Crypto World team, link down below, you'll probably have a better chance at potentially winning some of this prize money. And so if you're trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is Bitfinex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitfinex, which means if you're in the US or the UK, for example, or another country where you might not be able to access Bybit, you can access Bitfinex. So I'll also leave a link to Bitfinex down below this video. And if you use that link, you can get up to a 5.5K deposit bonus, and only if you use that link, you can get an exclusive 10% discount on all trading fees on the Bitfinex exchange forever. But that is only if you use the link below this video to make your Bitfinex account. And so as another option out there other than Bybit, once again, there's Bitfinex, links down below if you want to claim those extra bonuses. But with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, and right now we do have some more liquidity building just underneath the current Bitcoin price, sitting basically just underneath $60,000, more specifically around 59.6K to 59.8K. And so just keep that in mind. That could be a potential price target to pay attention to here in the short term, because usually, not always, but usually the price tends to take out these major levels of liquidity. And also more recently, since this latest pullback really started a few days ago, we've also started to build a lot more liquidity at around 66,500. But just keep in mind, obviously, we have many other bearish factors in the charts right now, like, for example, this huge spike in the DXY, and also the fact that we're trading back below some major levels of resistance, which were previous support. And so we would have to see more breakouts and more bullish signals confirm on these Bitcoin charts before we can really start looking at these higher levels of liquidity. But as of right now, those are the levels of liquidity to pay attention to based on this chart right here. And with that being said, taking a look at Ethereum on the 3-day time frame, and right now we're still within the larger bearish trend or the long-term bearish trend here. But as of right now, we still have this significant area of support, which has previously held as major support in the price of ETH, and that's sitting in between around 2150 to 2.2K. So that is still the area of support to pay attention to. And as for resistance, we should now find resistance in between around 2450 to 2.5K, and above that we have significant resistance close to 2.8K. And if we're zooming into the shorter term, looking at the 12-hour time frame, we're still seeing very similar price action to what we saw back here. Obviously, we confirmed that bearish divergence already close to a week ago, around half a week to 1 week ago. And as I've said every day since then, since these much higher prices, this is a bearish signal in the short term, most likely going to result in a short-term pullback or at least a bit of choppy sideways price action. And so, of course, we did end up seeing that pullback, which is one of the most common outcomes from a bearish divergence. But right now, the 12-hour Ethereum RSI is getting very close to oversold territories. As of right now, it's basically brushing against oversold territories, but it's not there just yet. So technically speaking, we still have a little bit more room to the downside in the short term, but that room to the downside is starting to run out. And so once again, if we see that oversold signal actually confirm, and on smaller timeframes, it's likely already confirmed. If that's the case, then we could expect maybe a slight little relief or a break from all of this bearish price action, but not necessarily the end of this short-term bearish trend. And so an example of that would be like what we saw back here, where we started more of a short-term bearish trend after this bearish divergence right here. And then we actually saw a slight little bullish relief. That wasn't necessarily from an oversold signal, but that's just an example of what we usually see when we actually have an oversold signal confirm. But as the price experiences a slight bounce or even just some sideways price action, that resets the RSI back to the upside towards more neutral levels, which gives us more room to the downside later on to continue the bearish trend. And so overall, in the short term, over the next 1 or 2 days, give or take, we are due to see potentially a bit of a slowdown from all of the bearish price action, but we could likely continue that bearish trend later on. So this is not necessarily the end of the bearish trend by any means. And with that being said, taking a look at Solana on the daily time frame, and over the last 1 day, we've seen a massive candle wick to the downside below this area of support based on previous support and resistance, and that's sitting in between around 138 to 143. But as of recording this video, we've not yet confirmed the daily candle close below 138. And so there's still a possibility as of right now that we could confirm the close back above 138. And in that case, we could likely continue to hold this area of support. But if we see more confirmation of a break to the downside by seeing candle closes back below 138, and even better, if we actually flip that into new resistance, that would be extra confirmation of a break to the downside, then in that situation, we'd likely see a continuation of a bearish trend here in the short term, back down towards this area of support in between 120 to 128. But even if we continue to find a little bit more support around this price range, technically speaking, the short-term trend and momentum is still currently bearish, as we can clearly see basically ever since we saw that exact rejection from this exact area of resistance in between around 159 to 163, give or take. And if we're zooming into the shorter term, looking at the 8-hour time frame, obviously over the last 1 week, approximately half a week to 1 week, we've played out this bearish divergence exactly as expected, in the form of a pullback, which is one of the most likely outcomes from a bearish divergence. But right now, that 8-hour Solana RSI is getting very close to oversold territories. Now, it's not there just yet, which means we technically have some more room to the downside here in the short term, but it's getting very close to oversold territories, which means we're likely soon, at some point, maybe after a little bit more of a move to the downside, at some point in the next 1 or 2 days, give or take, we're likely going to see a bit of a break or a slowdown from all of this bearish price action right here. But like I said earlier, that doesn't necessarily mean the bearish trend is over. So just be aware of that. If we see a slight bounce or sideways consolidation, just be aware of the fact that we could potentially continue the bearish trend later on. And so overall, a lot of the crypto market in terms of the short-term trend and momentum is clearly looking bearish right now. But at some point in the next couple of days, we're likely going to see a bit of a slowdown from all of the bearish price action during the bearish trend. And once again, if you want to trade these moves in the price of any crypto, check out those links down below this video to claim those extra bonuses or join my cryptoworld team in that trading competition. And if you're new to the channel and you want to know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions. And the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.